Coming up. Why did the US government defy a federal judge? And who gave the illegal order? Who is sabotaging America's chip industry? And why China preparing to strike back? Why now? Why all at once? Who is Mark Carney? And what forced him to call Canada's fastest election in decades in just 48 hours? The courts were ignored. The markets cracked. And a nation hit the panic button. This isn't a coincidence. This is a global power shift playing out in real time. Let's break it down.
Stay informed.
On April 15th, Judge Rose Lamberth issued a legally binding order. Why? Because the situation in Venezuela remains dangerous. Deporting individuals back could violate both international and US law. The deportation of Venezuelan migrants must stop. This wasn't a suggestion, it was a command from the judiciary. But what happened next shocked even long-time legal experts. Within hours, a flight departed from the US, carrying deportees back to Venezuela. Then another. By the end of the day, over 200 people had been deported. Deliberate? Accidental? That's what the court wanted to know. But instead of answers, Judge Lamberth got silence. So he escalated the situation and declared probable cause for criminal contempt. In plain terms, the US government, possibly under Trump's direct authority, broke the law, and now the courts may press charges. A deadline is set, April 23rd. Either the Department of Justice reveals who authorized the flights, or it faces criminal prosecution. Legal analysts are stunned. Some say this is the boldest judicial defiance by an administration since Watergate, and the implications are terrifying. Can a president's team override a federal judge? If the executive branch can ignore court orders, is the rule of law collapsing? One former federal prosecutor told us, "This is no longer just about immigration. This is a constitutional test of power." And behind closed doors, the White House isn't backing down. Sources say Trump sees this as necessary defiance. His allies argue the courts are overreaching, that immigration is his battlefield. But legal scholars warn, the next time, it may not stop at deportations. If this defiance stands. While DC deals with legal crisis, Wall Street is dealing with something worse, fear. On April 15th, the US government dropped a financial bomb. New restrictions on advanced chip exports to China to target Chinese access to American-made semiconductors used in AI, surveillance, and defense. The US says it's about national security, but for the companies affected, especially Nvidia, the damage is instant. The company released a grim warning. They're set to lose billions in upcoming quarters. Within hours, Nvidia's stock plummeted, the Nasdaq trembled, and tech investors scrambled. But here's the real story. This is not just a business hiccup. This is the second front of a global Cold War. AI is the new oil, and chips, especially high-efficiency, low-heat, neural processing chips, are the fuel. China, already under pressure from previous bans, now finds its tech ambitions under siege. And retaliation is already on the table. Chinese officials are threatening to cut off US access to rare earth materials, minerals, critical for chip production and defense tech. If that happens, the US could face a crippling tech shortage within months, and investors know it. Behind the scenes, Wall Street banks are issuing quiet memos to their clients. Reassess your exposure to US chip equities. Meanwhile, Washington insiders hint this is just the beginning. A national tech strategy, drafted in secret, reportedly outlines export restrictions, manufacturing subsidies, AI development for military superiority. That's right. This chip war is now a military strategy, and with China preparing its own AI defense investments, the next battlefield could be digital weapons. One senator whispered to a reporter, "The public sees a stock drop. What they don't see is war being programmed into a circuit board." While the US battles its own courts and its economy gears up for conflict, Canada is facing political whiplash. In a shocking announcement, Mark Carney, the newly appointed Prime Minister and former central bank governor, declared a snap election just 12 days away. No country holds elections is fast unless something big is happening. Here's what we know. Carney was brought in during a time of political gridlock and economic stress. Then came new US tariffs, new trade accusations from Trump's administration, and even rhetorical attacks on Canada's leadership. Some insiders say Carney feared being paralyzed by opposition parties and lobbyists, so he's decided to strike first and ask the people for full control. But there's danger in the strategy. Opposition parties are calling this a power grab. Voters are confused, many uninformed, and public trust is rapidly eroding. If Carney wins, he'll have a clear mandate to fight back against US pressure. If he loses, Canada could fall into a leadership vacuum at the worst possible time. One former diplomat said, "Canada's sovereignty is under threat," and instead of a shield, Carney rolled the dice. A government ignores its own laws. A tech empire loses billions overnight. A nation rushes into election just to survive. This isn't random. This isn't chaos. This is global power resetting.
Stay informed.